Alright, we are live. So, I'm going to be journaling price action for today. It's pretty cool because I did call the whole entire model. Unfortunately, I did not get a winning trade. I got so tired towards the end of the live stream, and it's something I need to work on. It's mostly a discipline thing. Like, if I know I'm that tired, I got to close the charts because I was getting extremely tired, and you sit on the charts for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and you don't have a trade, you start to really want to force something, and that's kind of what happened. So mostly discipline thing, and I'm gonna focus on not letting that happen again. I have a new thing in my notes where if I feel really tired and I know I shouldn't trade, if I can just close the charts and get off the charts at that time, I get 5 bonus points. So that's a new rule that I just implemented. But yeah, every single failure is an opportunity for a win, and every single win gets to be a win. So what I mean by that is you learn from every failure, which makes it a win. But then the wins are wins themselves. So there's no losing. You just keep getting better. Like today, I learned if I'm about to fall asleep, instantly close the charts. Don't trade. It's not worth it. So that's something I'm gonna start doing. If I genuinely feel like I'm about to fall asleep, definitely should not be taking a trade. So a lot of interesting stuff that happened today. We're gonna dive into it in detail and talk about everything. So should be good. Should be a good live stream. Let's go. Hydra liked my tweet. Let's go. My quote post. Because basically, Hydra he put this tweet out where he's like, he said, tips for FOMC: don't trade mornings, trade afternoons, trade power hour. And that's what I've been wanting to hear for a while now, right? That's not what I've been wanting to hear, but that's been kind of what I've been thinking for a while now, and that was the confirmation that I needed to be like, that's what I'm probably gonna do. So with all that in mind, chat on my phone, right? So here we have the other screen. I knew this was a sell model because, one, we had two different SMTs. So we have SMT here. And look at how obviously generated this liquidity is, right? I mean, the whole entire time we had this, I'm like, yeah, we're going to go run this later. Because it's too good for the market not to come back to. It loves to go run this generated liquidity. I mean, it's like giving candy to a baby. It's not going to pass it up. Whenever you see these generated liquidity trend lines, the market doesn't pass it up. So one new thing I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making a folder for every single day that I do these journaling live streams. I'm going to start making a folder with all of the possible trades that I saw you could have taken for that day. And then over the course of like a year, I'm going to have this massive portfolio of all kinds of different trades you could have taken every single day. I think it'll be awesome. So, yeah, with all that in mind, let me get chat pulled up. So we have SMT with YM. And then we have another lower time frame SMT right here. And so this whole time I was wondering like, oh, what do I do to enter? What do I do to enter? I actually think, hey, Political Shadow, how's it going, bro? So this entire morning, I actually called this entire model here because look at how obviously generated this is. I mean, the market doesn't leave this and then not come back to it. It's like giving candy to a baby. The market loves to go run these kinds of lows. It's not going to pass it up. And I knew it wasn't. Go look at this. Check out in the Discord, in my high time frame analysis channel, what did I post? I said, we're probably going to have a sell model. I didn't know if we were going to go back up there and sweep the high or not, but I knew we were probably going to end up going lower. Look at this. Look at how I called this out. I said we're probably going to go lower, right? We have generated liquidity here, generated liquidity here, and then we had a 4-hour CRT. So with all that in mind, I was really expecting this to be a sell model here. And then check what happened. It's exactly that. The issue was I couldn't get a trade. And so that's where the journaling process comes in. We're going to figure out where I went wrong with my entry or why I couldn't find an entry. And we're going to fix that. So the future, that way I will get an entry. So finally, got chat pulled up on my phone now. So the main possible entry I think you could have gotten here is you would have needed to enter on the creation or on the CISD. That's like the only way you probably could have entered this trade. Because if you wanted to enter on like a close below this one, right? There's like we didn't close below until we got all the way down here. So you would have had to have entered on this. And I'm not sure, like, I was a super big fan of this one because this looked like a consolidation, right? And so there's a reason I didn't take this, but I will mark it out as a possible trade that you could have taken, right? Because I'm just trying to get better, and so I'm going to mark it out. Like, we got to change the state of delivery, or you call this a creation of a breaker. So when I say a creation of a breaker, I'm saying we closed below this old down close candle. That validates this as a breaker block right here. And so on that a creation of a breaker is the same as a CISD, right? So you can enter on the creation of a breaker or CISD. And so we have SMT, sweep out all these highs. We knew this was probably going to be a sell model. And so with all that in mind, once we close below this down close candle after sweeping this high, we got good signature and price. This is a trade I'm going to put in my notes for the future. I'm starting this out today. This is the first time I'm ever doing this, but essentially I'm going to start logging all the possible trades you could have taken on every single given day. So for instance, I'll show you what I mean. Now, I wonder if there were any other confluences for this. Real quickly, let's look, because if there was, I want to include them in the trade, right? Was there anything with StatMap that was a confluence? Yeah, we had the 4-hour distribution level right here, right underneath the 4 to 4.5. So that was a nice confluence. You learn so much by journaling. It's actually crazy. Like if I ever see a distribution, a StatMap distribution level lined up with a 4 to 4.5 standard deviation, in the future I'm gonna be like, dang, that's probably a strong sign we're actually gonna go there. Especially if it lines up with good liquidity like this. So this is called the StatMap. It's statistical mapping. Essentially, it maps out the statistical expected manipulation and distribution for whatever candle you want. So in this case, this is the 4-hour one. And yeah, it was all the way down there. Let's look at the session one. Session one ended up being way further down. Probably didn't make sense to have that one out. But let's check out the daily one. And then maybe the 12-hour one as well. Okay. That one wouldn't have been helpful probably. How about the 12-hour one? Yeah, none of that really would have been helpful. So we're going to put this in the new... Hey dude, quick question. What do you suggest me to learn to find bias? Like, I only need bias for New York session. So what I do, obviously you're going to want to find what clicks for you, because what clicks for me might not be what clicks for you. and that's totally fine. Everyone has a different way of understanding the market. You got to find your own perspective. But what works for me is I like to see like what draws on liquidity today. We left Asia below. This I recommend, highly recommend getting this indicator. It's like a superpower because the session highs and lows are super, super good targets. The market loves to come back to them. So mark out where your session highs and lows are. And then what I like to do is I use like SMTs and then like try and find generated liquidity like this to frame a model, right? So that's what I did this morning. I knew we had Asia below. I knew we had London below. So I framed this as a model, right? And so this is what I do to find bias. I just frame a model, and then within that model, I take my lower time frame trades. And another thing that helps me with bias is CRT. It's basically a higher time frame candle. When you sweep out a high of one candle, you typically go to the other side of that range. But I'd have to explain that on a different day. But yeah. That's what I would recommend is just like frame a model and then find lower time frame trades within that model. That's what works for me. And then also just use really good draws on liquidity, right? So, I'm just gonna mark this out as a possible trade, but like once again, this is just, let's see what other confluences could we mark out with this trade. Proof stays high. Okay. Alright, this is the first one that's going to go in the journal for today. So this would have been a crazy trade. I would not have probably caught this like ever, but I'm just showing every possible trade you could have taken for any given day. And I think that by doing this consistently every single day, that it's just going to become intuition. I mean, you're just going to notice everything that you wouldn't notice before. So if this will let me screenshot it, that would be nice. Is it going to let me? My computer's being laggy. Is this stream lagging right now? Is this stream lagging? Do I need to restart my computer? Is the stream lagging? Bro. What is going on? I might need to restart my computer. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna restart my computer, and I just don't want to lose this drawing that I made here. Yeah, I think Dodgy's inverse for value gap model is great. I use IFEGs, so I use Dodgy's model, and then I use breakers overlapping with fair value gaps. It's called the unicorn model, and I just use those two. But I use them. I frame a higher time frame model, and then I take the trades within that model. And so, I guess I also do CISDs, but yeah. But I think if you just, because the market moves in these models. Okay, that's good that it's not lagging. So maybe I can just get this to be, man. I don't know what to do. It's not letting me screenshot it. Just let me know if it starts lagging and I'll restart my computer. I clicked the screenshot button, so it should be. Okay, I don't know, man. This is kind of annoying. I will restart the stream probably. I mean, I'm gonna take a picture of this in case I do lose it, because I'm not gonna want to draw that out again. Or maybe it'll work. Okay, I'm gonna